Probably all got a shed with some tins out there with some bits and pieces in it, some screws and nails and so on. I want to take you into a shed right now that's got a few more tins than what you probably expect. Come and join me.
When Robert and Margaret Gaston first started collecting tins, they probably didn't appreciate what was about to happen in the future. But now their Tin Heads Museum in Geraldton, Western Australia, is said to be the biggest collection of tins in Australia, with more than 11,000 tins. And it's not just a place where memories are made, it's also a place that represents a social history.
Well, it's Rosemary's fault, because she was in the sewing room doing some sewing for Margaret, and Margaret was over here teaching ceramics, and Rosemary came over and said to Margaret, "Where's so-and-so?" Because Margaret had about 30 odd tins in the sewing room. And Margaret said, "Oh, it's in one of the tins." And Rosemary chucked the fit and said, "Take them over the shed and let the ladies look at them while they're doing ceramics. And buy yourself some little plastic containers so that you can see what's in them without having to take every lid off." And so that's how it's all started. These were made by Gaston Brothers factory in Kensington, Victoria. And Dad could either go into the factory and work, or they'd buy him a farm. And he said, "I'll have a farm, thank you very much." Hated indoors and hated office work. And he would have come out and cleared land like that down the bottom there with horses and things like that. And I came along just after the horses. Well, I was originally I'm from Morawar. I was born and bred in Morawar, and then we shifted to Bullsbrook just before we got married. And we got married when I was down in Bullsbrook, and then we came from Bullsbrook back to Geraldton, and I've been in Geraldton for the last 40 odd years now. So yeah, this is the first tin that Margaret had when she was 7 years old, and the grandmother said to her, "If you've still got that when you're 14, we'll buy you a sewing machine." And we only sold the sewing machine a couple of years before we started this collection. Now, I wish we hadn't sold it. We started in 2005, and we started off, as I said, with 35 tins up on a wooden shelf, and it just grew a little bit from there, and we've now got 11,800 tins. That honey cake tin is my oldest tin, that's 1820. The one behind it is a little wax match tin, it was 1832, and I call that one new tin, that one in the front. And then we've got a little matchbox cover here, that was made in 1859. And that'd have to be pretty well the oldest. And then you come over here, that's Queen Victoria, that's 150 years old. Then you got this one here, that's your Queen's mum and dad. He died at 47, she went on to be 101.
Sometimes it's the simple things in life, the most mundane things, that have the most impact. Who would have guessed that something like the common biscuit tin could have so much impact? And yet somehow the Tin Heads Museum in Geraldton has hit upon that recipe that can turn simplicity into something extraordinary.
When we first started, we used to go around to garage sales, and you could pick them up for 5 cents, 10 cents, and maybe 50 cents. I've got people that collect for me now, and then people, now that they've got to know what I'm doing, are now bringing me tins from home straight to here, because they know that I'm looking after them, and I'm now getting tins sent to me from all over the world to here. So I can't ask for any more than that.